don't you think that the terrible situation in the world today would be so much better if everyone would just have a cup of tea at 4 o'clock? Don't you think that?
Yes, and as long as we're having some tea, then we've got to have some treats. Treats. You can have some treats.
Yeah, yes, and not only do they have to be human treats, but they can be peanut butter treats for doggies, like this one right here.
Yes, and if I was really crazy, which sometimes I am, um, you might try a dog treat, and it's real peanut butter.
Yes, and I've done that myself. Welcome. I'm Tom Trese. I'm the creator of The Heroes. Welcome to The Heroes podcast on air. Please look at the prop. Thank you. Well, I'm a neurologist who retired 8 years ago. I'd practiced for 38 years in Fort Worth. But in retirement, I was drawn to writing for some reason. God wanted me to write some stories. And so I decided that I would write about heroic acts that individuals had done in our country combating the stupid crimes that we see all around us. And I thought this was a good way to show that God works through the chosen rather than choosing the equipped. So I wrote a book called The Heroes, and it was published in 2022. And but I really wanted it to be a movie. I told my editor that, and she said, "Well, you have to write the book first," which I did. And the first part I turned into a script, did the adaptation, and it was featured as well. It was nominated for Best Feature Screenplay in 7 different film festivals across the country, which I was kind of surprised about. Only one of them was Christian, the other was secular, which I was happy about because we're trying to reach the unchurched and those who've been hurt by the church as well as practicing Christians. So then the next step on this journey was to make a proof of concept, a short video, which lays out the plot simply and also introduces the characters. And we did that last spring. And two of these characters were in it, and we're going to introduce them in just a minute. Actually, there's another one, but we'll get there. And that won Best Short Film in the LA International Cinema Awards in November. I was stunned. And so we had embarked on a TikTok and Instagram campaign in the summer, and that got 670,000 views in 5 weeks with strong engagement. And we were this is God's thing. The doors are open. Doors are wide open. Just keep coming. So I thank you, Lord. And we went ahead and then went to the American Film Market, which is this great trade show in LA where people come with their projects and try to find a studio or some production company that will distribute their film. And I was fortunate. I'm going to tell a story about timing a little bit later, but I've discovered Film Hub, never heard of it before, pitched like I'm pitching to you now, and they said, well, can we distribute it when it's ready? We're going to give you a letter of intent. And I thought about it for maybe 0.2 seconds and said, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll be fine. So that's kind of where we are. We're doing these podcasts to remind you that this is an ongoing project. And so that's all I'm going to say right now. But now I'm going to introduce the hardest working man in podcast business and a good-looking guy to Bryan Fernandez. Take it away.
Yeah, so we have some amazing guests with us today. We have 2 human guests and 1 furry friend. We're very excited to introduce to you guys today. So we have Sarah Weeks and Michael Kim, who play Monica and Kim. And we also have Coco, who plays Pookie in the film. So she's, very excited to be here. And yeah, if you guys want to go ahead, whoever wants to go first and talk about who these characters are and how they fit into the story of the heroes.
Hi, my name is Sarah Weeks, and I have the great good fortune to play Monica. And to be honest, at this point, we don't know a whole lot
Yeah.
about ourselves, which
Yeah.
is kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
And I say that, and then as an actress, I'm like, you could read the book.
You could read the book.
You could read the
And
book.
you could buy the book too.
'Cause
It's
that's
on
the-
Amazon. It's called The Heroes, Tom Tracy. But no, yes, and let me fill you in a little bit. It's amazing because the actors have not seen the full script yet. And the script is a bit different than the book. But basically, Monica Corso is a heart of gold social worker in Queens, New York. And she stumbles across, some women that have been used by men in it's sort of like in the Me Too sort of thing in New York, very prevalent. And so Michael, who plays Kim Lee Moon, is a Korean American who's come from Korea to plant a church in the Korean neighborhood in New York. But to make money, he's got to drive an Uber. So he meets Monica in the Uber, and they talk about the situations. And it just so happens that because Monica is a church-going Catholic, one of the few, the only church-going person in the of all the heroes. Just to tell you, folks, you don't have to go to church to be a good Christian. So you decide, and you come up with this place called the Haven, which is where damaged ladies can come to heal. So that's your backstory, more or less.
No, and I was going to say, I really love, even from just the little bit that we're currently aware of, that in what you've written, there was such a sense of her warmth and humor and her empathy for other people. And that, everyone likes to think that we're all that way.
Right.
Sometimes I am,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm not. But
Yeah.
the writing really just opened up those doors for me.
Uh-huh.
And with the snippet of monologue work, really,
Yes.
for the audition,
Yes.
I did laugh because I always strike myself as like the least ethnic looking person, especially Italian American, which calls in the reality that you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. However, in your audition, Monica, your mother is dying from cancer. And how did you say it?
cancer.
Cancer. I mean, that's New York, right?
And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
asked me about
Yeah.
how do you come up with the accents? And I said, right now, I feel like I have a not very nuanced
Yeah.
Monica as far as the accent.
Right.
It's like channeling some things.
Yeah.
I do listen to phonetics. I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But what I think it's important to know is the exterior, the accents, the things we put on, none of that really matters if you don't have the writing and that you can't find the heart and the head of a character. If you have those two things, the other stuff you'll get.
Yeah.
But I just love the character of Monica.
Thank you.
so
Well,
thank you.
you only had a few lines in the POC, and everybody should go look at it. It's on YouTube. If you go to The Heroes, Tom Tracy 2025, you can find it. And in it, the heroes discover this crying lady at this bar that they're meeting for the first time at. And she is thinking that this villainous preacher, TV guy, Reverend Mike Tillotson, is going to give her a miracle and help her out of her jam. And jam is a word that Monica uses a lot for people that are in trouble. So the first one, there's two ladies that are very tender-hearted, soft, just warm and cuddly to people. And it's Monica and Renee who plays, wouldn't I know her name? Martha. Monica and Martha, yeah.
Martha, like Martha in the Bible.
Exactly.
Martha.
But so you come over and you ask in a very kind way, what's happening? And you tell her, well, we'll pray for you. And then you go back to the group that's sitting around and they say, what's up with the crying lady? And you say, in just two brief sentences, what's going on? She's in a real jam. And it's beautiful. Just beautiful to watch. Yes, ma'am. You got it. So, Michael.
Yes.
You don't have a lot of lines in the POC. However, you are, of all the characters, clearly the most biblically based. You and let's see here. You and Eric and Danny go on a little intelligence gathering
Yeah.
thing. Have you read the story? Yet?
Well,
Not
I
yet.
know that part wasn't specifically in the script, but it is
Right.
in the book, right?
Yeah, yes,
So
yes, exactly.
I-
Yeah.
When I got the role, I
Yeah.
figured why not? Because I think the more text that you have, the more context you have.
Thank
to
you. Thank
Flesh
you.
out the character.
And did you enjoy the book?
I was not able to read all of it, but I definitely, yes, from
He
what I read,
enjoyed
I enjoyed the book.
The book.
Go get it. Yes.
Go get the book. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
specifically, I had gone through the parts where Kim was involved, and
Yeah.
I mean, it just did help.
Yeah.
And even with Reverend Mike, that it gave you more context and how how evil this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
How easily exactly.
it all plays into it.
And your reaction when they're going through this NCN, this name it and claim it campus where Reverend Mike holds out, and it's one of these Christian networks that does all the prosperity gospel stuff and all these stuff. You can be rich. God wants you to be rich, and if you're not, it's your fault, and all those things, and terrible things. And so you're going through there, and you're going through a gift shop, and they've got T-shirts, they've got cozies, they've got a meme of a guy getting out of a wheelchair, and Reverend Mike going heal, and so you just about vomit in that place. I mean, you just turned off. You want to get out.
Artifacts of things that he
and Luther's with you is starting to growl. So anyways, so so tell us about some of your. So first of all, Sarah, tell us about your involvement with the children acting. Thing.
Well, I am a very long time theater educator, everything from pre-K to people older than myself, private school, public school, different art institutions.
Wow.
And I'm not fully retired. And so I had been teaching and I came back in to performing, but I like to stay involved with kids. So right now we don't have classes. So I've been house managing, which is kind of ushering and seating, school performances and public performances. And I have to say, it is so much fun to watch kids watch a play, to walk into a theater and go, are we going to see a movie? I'm like, no, you're going to see real live actors and they can see and hear you, and you're the missing puzzle piece. Because no reason to be walking and talking up there without you. So you can laugh and cry and go, if something's cute. And they are just like, it's very interactive. So getting to be a part of that. It sounds kind of corny, but as theater, creative, writers, whatever we're doing, I think we look at what we do as gifts that we've been given, and that there are ways that we use those gifts to serve.
Yes.
And whenever I'm kind of going, oh man, this is a slog, I look out over hundreds of kids and think, this is what I get to do.
Exactly.
And play with dogs.
And play with dogs. So, Michael, tell us about this new character that's in the show, Mo, and tell us a bit about Mo and how different it is from Kim Lee Moon in The Heroes.
Well, I would say it's a pretty big difference. Well, with Mo, I mean, to be completely honest, that was my first role, so I would love to say like I did all this research and fleshed this character out, but I really, as far as acting goes, that was my first booking, so like I really felt that I had no idea what I was doing. But I will always remember Mo, who plays himself, Mo.
Yeah.
He pulled me aside and just said, hey, like, relax, we chose you for a reason, like, just have fun. So with that character, I felt there was more room to play with, and as far as the text went, that it was a lot of me fleshing the character out, and I felt with Kim, there's so much material with the book and just who this person was and his foundation, his morals. So I felt that this character was a little more given to me. So if that makes sense.
Sure. So it's a show. So how many episodes have been dropped so far?
Well, season 1 came out a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Season 2 just came out last year.
Okay. So
but
is
yeah.
your character in several of the episodes? Or
in season 1?
in
Yes.
season 1?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I just saw, I think the first episode you were in it, and you were giving this guy the tattoo, and
Yeah.
and you had to not narcotize him, but help him along
Yeah.
with his pain and anxiety. And I thought you did a great job.
Thank you, I
And
appreciate
yeah, Yeah, I'm interested to follow your character and see what other
Mm,
things the script allows you to do
yeah.
with him. Yeah, Brian, you got some
Yes.
questions?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to start off with Sarah. I know that on set we discussed our love for theater. I remember that's all we were talking about. And the two takes was like just theater.
Yeah.
So
Theater kids,
I know,
theater
yeah,
kids.
'cause I'm a theater
So
kid.
would you just so tell us in the last episode? You said you were an actor and you came in and just do that.
Which, oh,
when
when I started out in theater.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you were kind of dramatic.
yes, I was very dramatic. I really
No.
was.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think all theater kids are dramatic.
They
If you're a
are.
quiet theater
Even
kid, that's like
quieter
weird.
theater.
Yeah. We're all kind of explosive and just all over the place. But yeah, I started out in theater. I did, I was performing since I was like 12 years old. I just did so much
Wow.
theatrical plays, and that was kind of my creative outlet. I was actually a very introverted kid, a very shy kid. I barely spoke. But, the moment that I entered that theater class in 6th grade, I just remembered it was so liberating to play a character that wasn't yourself. So you you had permission to just kind of do whatever the character wanted to do. Whether it was, be mean, whether it was, whatever kind of personality trait that wasn't necessarily yourself, I was able to do. And that just unlocked something in me. And the more that I performed, the more that I was fortunate enough to just get those parts in those school plays, just gave me much more confidence in myself and just interest. I was like, I feel like this is a fun thing to do. I would love to just pursue this as a career.
Yeah.
But to your point, I remember I also enrolled in acting school while I was in public school. So I was doing like 2 schools at the same time when I was like 16, 15 years old. And I remember the first time I walked into the acting school for camera and they gave me that script. It was just like I was in like a telenovela. I was like, what? What do you mean? It was just like this over the top dramatic. Because, in theater, you have to project. In theater, you have to make sure that the person all the way in the back can hear you.
Right.
In film, your mic's right here. You can
Exactly.
whisper
You
into the
can
camera.
whisper.
You can subtle movements, your eyes, everything is so important. And so the moment those, words came out of my mouth, the acting teacher, which also shout out to Fourth Actors Studio, Nathan D. Myers, who I appreciate and value so much. He literally looked at me and he was like, wait. Okay, let's stop. Right. Are you in theater? And I was like, how do you know? He was like, let's lower down the volume. Let's slow down. Let's take a deep breath. In theater and in film, it's so many.
I imagine, Sarah, you've seen this a bit in your.
The technical differences are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it goes back to it has to be coming from
Yes.
inside and you have to be serving text.
Mm-hmm.
And you can learn the technical differences. As an actor, you've got to have a tool bag, really,
Yeah.
of how you approach things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I would take a theater kid who can take direction and tone down over the idea that just anybody can get in front of a camera and a mic and be able to act. I'm not a big
Yeah.
advocate of that. Can it happen? Heck yes, it can
Yes.
happen.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But training and stamina have a lot to do with your longevity as a actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's completely like different acting styles, but they're
Yeah.
both so special. So honestly, yeah, Sarah. So what's your favorite like theater production, whether it's Broadway, off Broadway? Is there like a specific favorite that you like? I don't remember if we even discussed which one was your
No, we
favorite.
didn't. And I'm like that weird theater teacher that sometimes I'm obsessive and sometimes I'm not. I did become obsessive with Hadestown. If we're talking about something I'm not personally involved in. I love the music. I love the story, the staging, everything. And one of the last things I did while I was still teaching full-time was I went to the International Thespian Conference in New York City that year, and they treated us like theater teachers should be treated. I had so many free tickets, and one of the free tickets I had was to Hadestown. And after the show, the entire cast came out, sat right down with us, like 100 theater teachers, and proceeded to tell us how much their theater teachers had meant to them. So, of course, we're all crying.
Yeah.
But I know as a teacher, even though it doesn't always feel like it, I know how we change lives. And I know that theater changes lives. And there are times when I'm like, if it comes down to can I feed a kid or put them in a theater class, clearly feeding is pretty important. But
Yeah.
art is important.
Amen.
And I think it goes
Amen.
back to what do we look at as gifts and service?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the short version is Hadestown. Can't say enough good stuff about it. I love the music. Everybody should listen to the music and
That
love it.
is-
It's the story of Persephone. And so it's based on ancient Greek myth, which brings me to theater roots, which is a place of seeing. Theater, in some ways, is the beginning of communing and recognizing creation and being in that sacred space together.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. I did not know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I to your point, it changed my life. You know, if I didn't start out in theater and realize what it was like to really portray a character, I don't know if I would really be doing this, to be quite honest, because
Yeah.
theater really does change your life. And especially for, a lot of people kind of start out like me in a sense where we don't have, a lot of connections or our family. I'm the first actor in my family history, point blank, period. So I know there are a lot of, actors who kind of cling to theater because, especially in their schools, because it's kind of their only creative outlet. And not a lot of people can like relate to them or like, in that way. So I think that's very beautiful to share. Theater does really does change lives, and
do
theater
you-
teachers do too.
Do you two think, any of you think, that with AI, there is going to be more of a thirst for real performers, since everything that we put on the screen, as you know, can be AI'd. I
Yeah.
mean, there's going to be these movies that are going to be, and I think it's going to be like anime and all that stuff. But don't you think that people are going to say, wow, you mean actual people can do that? And then you actually have a play. Because right now, the only plays I think that make money are ones that are based on successful movies like, Shrek or
Oh, as far as like the big,
Whatever.
like the Disney genre of musicals where it's a Disney movie before it becomes a
Yeah.
musical, yes, they make tons of money.
right.
Yes, indeed. I am generally optimistic human being. AI it's already here. It's not going to go away. We
Yeah.
got to learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
And use it as a tool for good as much as possible. That's true of everything that's ever happened in terms of technical advancement.
Amen. That's right.
Do I think people will always crave humanity? Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think AI for
Yeah.
a long
Yeah.
time is going to really
Yeah.
take over
Mhm.
everything.
No.
There's a difference. I think, when it comes to AI, there's a lot of lack of emotion, human connection
Right.
that people really do
Right.
crave. So I'm yeah, to your point, I think people are going to always love the theater, which is live. It's in
And
in
the
flesh
other
and-
nice thing about the theater is that in order to see it, you have to be sitting in a theater. You can't just get it at home.
Yeah.
This whole, I'm old, so I'm going to tell you, go off on how technology has isolated us all from everything. It wipes out, bank clerks are gone. You can go on, real estate clerks are gone. Just ridiculous thing, the interactions with people. You can get your food delivered to your house. You can get, you just don't need, people used to go to the movies and people used to go to church and see, and commune and we all crave community. And it's, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you think, there are several generations shown right in this room, the effect COVID had
Yeah.
on us recognizing we could do a lot of things because of the technology that existed that
Right.
without it we wouldn't have been able to do.
That's right.
But I know my own experience was like I was teaching theater then,
Yeah.
and I didn't have any trouble getting my kids to come to class and turn their cameras on. 'Cause
Yeah.
They wanted that time,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
necessarily always with me,
Yeah.
but with one another.
Amen.
So
Yeah.
I think even as we are trying to learn how to recognize AI, that we're human. So there is something innate where we're going to have those
Yeah.
back in the day uncanny valley moments
Yeah.
Or those moments where we're like, it's not this, it's just not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
hoping that it stays
It's
just
I
not
think
the
y'all said
same.
it best. Like, we just all want connection.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
AI
yeah,
is
yeah.
never gonna.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Exactly.
know.
Which, honestly, to your point, Michael, I know like we've briefly kind of discussed your character in Mo. He plays Chien in Mo. Really great performance, by the way. Completely different. I remember when I was watching the show, I was like, "Is that Michael?" What? You know, I did not expect just the complete diversity in performance, which is great, right? As an actor, you crave those like characters that are
Right.
completely different. So honestly, I would love for you to touch on you know, your preparation process for both of these roles, or what was it like, you know, just as an actor, your process of playing completely different characters?
So, like I said, with Chien, I mean, it was my first booking, and I honestly would say, like, I had no idea what I was doing. I felt a lot like, do I belong to be here? Like, all the nerves. This is something I've always wanted to do.
Right.
And when I actually booked it, I was kind of like, oh, like, I'm an imposter.
Mm.
I really give love to Mo because he really did pull me through, and he told me that like, just relax, just be
Mhm.
there with me, and
Mhm.
and that really settled me down with Kim. I remember that day you had told me that this was based on someone you knew, and that
Yes.
really gave me, I don't know if pressure is the right word, but I just wanted to bring it justice to
Beautiful.
you and
Thank you.
to the person,
Thank you.
the real life Kim, and
Incredible.
but
yeah.
with the preparation, I think, like we've talked about, it's a lot about the text, what you're given, and fleshing out the character.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's that story real quickly was there was a couple our church used to have this thing called Friend Speak where people would come to learn to speak English, and so we had Korean people that were here for different reasons, and and there was this one couple who told us that over in Korea they went to visit, they're Christian, they went to visit a house church in China, which was of course forbidden, and they got across the border and they were in there worshiping, and a truck pulled up with Chinese military, and everybody lined up, and the people that were at that we were talking to were at the end of the line, sort of, and the soldiers put them all in the truck, and they stopped right there at them, and then I mean it's the hand of God for sure, and so that always, so I mean stuff like that, real stuff like that, and that that's the kind of that's character you're yeah, man,
That's really cool.
way to go. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And honestly, so we're moving on to our next segment, which we've been asking every single guest so far on this podcast, is do you have a dream role or director to work with?
Um, I think I would love to be a part of an ensemble like The Office. I grew up.
Oh.
That's one of my favorite shows, and
Yeah, yeah.
I find it really comforting. As you said, art is important. It's kind of, some people might find it silly, but to me, I find The Office as my comfort show. And a lot of times when I was sad or whatever it might be that what I'm going through, that show always brings light to me and
Yeah.
brings me joy. So I would
Great.
love to be part of something like Abbott Elementary,
Yeah.
just,
Oh, yeah,
just shows like
yeah.
that
Yeah.
that some people just find joy in.
We watched that last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I love it. I love
Yeah.
those shows too.
I am going to say what Michael said. More than a dream role or dream director, I really love the idea of having a company, of
Yeah.
having an artistic home.
Yeah.
There's a certain, okay, when Catherine O'Hara died, I'm not usually a person who gets all bent over celebrity
Mhm.
deaths.
Right.
I just thought back on how I watched her, she and I are roughly the same ages.
Yeah.
And I was like, she never did anything but bring joy
Yeah.
Yeah.
and laughter and real humanity, which is the true gift of really great comedians, is that everything that's underneath. And I just thought, watching various shows she's been a part of, how there's such joy and just complete that feeling of being supported, which, we're young in our process right now
Yeah.
with the heroes, but this kind of interaction
Yeah.
doesn't happen with all projects.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Michael, I don't want just a role.
No,
I
no,
wanted
but-
full-time
yeah.
family.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's my dream is that this turns into
I mean, the Heroes is very much an ensemble kind of.
It absolutely
project,
is.
right?
Absolutely is,
we
and
have
we're hoping for a
pets.
franchise. So, so I think we're getting close to the end, and as we said on a podcast or two before, I had this silly idea that improv would be an interesting way, an improv exercise might be an interesting way to end the show. Now, Michael very wisely has opted out of this.
Oh, no, but you can
And
jump
myself.
in anytime.
He can
right?
jump in at any time.
I would love to see
Pookie
these two.
might join. We're not sure, but
What do you think?
or Coco, whatever she decides to be.
alter
But
ego.
it sounds like you, Monica. I mean Sarah, are in it.
Oh, I'll give
Of
it
course.
a shot.
Okay, and you are in it.
I am not. I participated before, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to. I honestly would just love to see these
Yes.
two just.
Oh, you
Me too.
okay? So you toss it back
Honestly.
to me, and I'll toss it back.
Yeah.
We'll do about 2 or 3
Honestly,
of those.
I think that would be so
And
exciting to see.
I'll end it. So okay, so I'm going to come to you in a British voice and say, don't you think that the terrible situation in the world today would be so much better if everyone would just have a cup of tea at 4:00? Don't you think that?
Yes, and as long as we're having some tea, then we've got to have some treats. Treats. You can have some treats.
Yeah, yes, and not only do they have to be human treats, but they can be peanut butter treats for doggies, like this one right here.
Yes, and if I was really crazy, which sometimes I am, you might try a dog treat. And it's real peanut butter. It's pretty-
Yes, and I've done that myself. And that's the thing, all we're going to do with that. Anyways, so this has been a wonderful time. Thank you both for
Freaking
being
up the
here.
rest.
Pookie, thank you for, we're glad you're agent and we can come to terms on this. And Bryan,
Yes.
stellar. Okay, so until next time, Lord will be with you and us, and we ask blessings on all of you. Thank you.